It's not too late to read the tales of Dunk and Egg right now before the show comes out in the spring. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered what's going to happen in the winds of winter? I wonder when a dawn of spring, a dream of spring, is going to come out. I wonder what will happen at the end of Game of Thrones. Well, let me tell you, if you read the tales of Dunk and Egg, you will find out. All your questions will be answered. It won't be satisfying, but did you actually expect that from the Winds of Winter itself? All of you were pissed off when A Feast for Crows came out, and you're even more pissed off when A Dance with Dragons came out. Do you expect the last two Game of Thrones books to be any different? Absolutely not. So, what you should do is read A Hedge Knight. Very simple. It explains everything that George R. R. Martin has ever wanted to say in one short and very entertaining book. I also beg you to please read it before the show comes out and possibly ruins it. Now, unlike some people, I actually did enjoy season 2 of The House of Dragon because I can accept that the Game of Thrones franchise is the USA's telenovela and is always going to be a little bit corny and stupid, but all of you bitches have so high expectations that you can't enjoy a single goddamn thing. But the show is gray. It's gray. Like, there's still no color in this show. I'm so over it. And I'm not ready to slightly enjoy the Night of the Seven Kingdoms and still have to accept that this show is going to be blue and gray the whole time. But whatever. It's very simple. Without giving away too much of this book, because I think people should read it, there is a culminating battle at the end of A Hedge Knight, where 7 knights go up against 7 knights. Not only in Dunk and Egg, but in all of the Westeros books, there's a lot of imagery comparing any battle to the battle for the dawn. There's a lot of use of the words of the dawn is coming. There's a lot of metaphors for dragons. There's a lot of metaphors for others. For instance, this is one David Lightbringer always talks about, shout out. The others, or the 7 white knights of the Kingsguard are often a metaphor for the others. The vocabulary and language that is used to describe both of these groups is often similar. And we see, spoiler, in The Hedge Knight, the first Dunk and Egg book, Dunk going up against 3 of the Kingsguard in a culminating battle that will decide his fate. And also, not intentionally, but the fate of the 7 kingdoms as well. Dunk is the hero of our story. And in all 3 books that are out, he always finds himself at these pivotal, historic moments. And oftentimes his decision-making and his moral compass direct the flow of history, the flow of how things will turn out. He's able to sway minds and change opinions simply by sticking to his morality and his belief in what a knight should be. Now, I won't spoil necessarily how it ends. Of course, we do know that Dunk survives because there's 2 other books after The Hedge Knight. But a lot of political things, there are a lot of political things that Dunk witnesses, that he has a hand in, that he doesn't even intend to have a hand in. And he ends up kind of being this, I don't want to say necessarily hero's journey, because I'm not sure that's exactly what Danny and John are either, but they take the role of a sort of dark hero, maybe even an antichrist, someone who brings about great times of change with their decisions and their actions and their abilities and the power that they don't even understand that they hold. And we don't even necessarily see Dunk win. I mean, Dunk reflects on the time on this battle throughout the rest of the books, and his regrets and his misunderstandings about the situation, and he tries his best to continue forward by still standing for the things he stood on. And the very moment that got him caught up in all of this is his decision to stand up for Tanzel, and also the small folk in general, who end up cheering him on because he stands up to a Targaryen prince for the small folk. And by the end of the book, he has stood his ground. Sacrifices that he couldn't control have been made, and a dragon has been born. I feel that this is a very succinct telling of the story that George R. R. Martin is telling over and over again in Game of Thrones. And at this point, that is enough for me. This is a sidebar, but George R. R. Martin did do this a second time with Brienne in A Feast for Crows. Her story in A Feast for Crows was essentially the whole culmination of the type of hero story he's trying to tell. The Knight's Tale, A Knight's Tale is about a knight that stands up for what they believe, come what may. And come what may usually actually brings the destruction of the world. Or, in a smaller sense, the destruction of the world that the knight thought they knew and understood. I have a feeling that the conclusion to A Song of Ice and Fire will be quite similar. Disappointing and beautiful and perfect all at once.